Our galaxy, the Milky Way, gets its name from a Greek myth. It's actually one of the Hercules myths. You know, Hercules' father was Zeus, the king of the gods, and he would kind of get around. He would sleep with pretty much anything divine or mortal, which resulted in him having a lot of illegitimate offspring. Many of them were demigods, half god and half mortal. Hercules was one of those. For some reason, Zeus decided that Hercules was special. So he wanted to try to make him more godlike. And he decided he could do this by fortifying him with the breast milk of the gods. So Zeus took Hercules and he laid him at the breast of his sleeping wife, Hera. And of course she woke up and she was disgusted. She tore the baby off of her chest, spilling breast milk across the heavens, creating the Milky Way, which we see as a band of stars across the night sky. Now some of you may be looking at me and thinking that this is going to be a story about shooting breast milk across the room. But it is not. Do not worry. The summer after my junior year at UGA, I studied abroad at Rome with the classics department. And I didn't know a whole lot of the people on the trip that well. Some of them were also Latin majors, but maybe I hadn't had a lot of classes with them. There were people who weren't Latin majors who just wanted to go to Rome. But there was one person I knew really well. It was my friend Brett. I had known him since high school. We had a few Latin classes together, but not a whole lot because Brett was really, really good at Latin, and I really liked Latin. So we weren't usually quite at the same level. But we were both on this trip. And while we were studying abroad in Rome, Brett was going to have his 21st birthday. And turning 21 in a country where you can already drink is a little bit anticlimactic. So I decided that I was going to get Brett the best birthday gift. Now, he's kind of a classics nerd, so you would think that being in Rome, it wouldn't be that hard to find something kind of classical and nerdy for him that would be a really awesome gift. But I was struggling. I hadn't found anything that I thought was perfect. And so about the weekend before his birthday, me and my two female roommates went to the Roman flea market, which sets up in this one part of Rome once a month. And since our whole trip was only lasting 6 weeks, it was our one chance to go to the flea market. So we went there, and it's huge. They have all these tables piled with, folk art and crappy touristy stuff and antiques and just everything that you'd expect to see at a flea market. There were small children running up and down the aisle selling cigarettes, which was a little bit disturbing. But we walked up and down the aisles, taking everything in and seeing if there was anything that we wanted to buy, and I was thinking, maybe I can find the perfect gift for Brett here at the flea market. And then I was starting to get a little discouraged. We had been there for a while, and I hadn't seen anything that looked like the perfect gift. And then we turned this corner, and I saw it. There was a table piled high with these stress reliever balls. They were the type that are filled with this viscous liquid, and they bulge out satisfyingly when you squish them. And you're probably wondering right now why I would think that that would be a really awesome gift, because those are pretty common. But that is because you do not yet know the most important thing about these stress reliever balls. Each one was made to resemble a human breast. They were flesh-colored, with a nipple. So I purchased one for €2. And on Brett's birthday, I gave it to him. And I was right, it was the perfect gift. He loved the breast. He squeezed it, he threw it through the air, he wrote poems about it in Latin. It was the best gift. Unfortunately, it was not of the highest quality. And so, after a couple days, it was starting to show some signs of wear. miniature. We thought that the nipple might fall off. So, it became apparent that Brett was just going to get as much enjoyment as he could out of it, and then that was going to be it. So one evening, many of us were sitting around in the common room at the hotel, and Brett overhand tossed the breast across the room to one of his roommates, and right there in midair, it sprung a leak. It began spewing its lactations across the heavens, creating in our hotel a miniature Milky Way. And when I think about the fact that we were allowed to live a real story from mythology, I know that the gods must be smiling at us, or at least spilling breast milk on us.